What's up, guys? Hey, I've never really done a live in our Facebook group, but wanted to do that. It's my first day back, just getting back. Today's actually my daughter's birthday, so we did some birthday activities this morning, and I wanted to come in here and do some work for a little bit. Missed you guys last week, so it sounded like, from the sound of it, I hope you guys. It sounded like the calls went great. Having a couple people come in and help us with that. And I'm super thankful. I mean, Chris and Scott and Jared and Alejandro, I mean, those guys are as good as people as you can get, let alone they are great investors themselves. And guys, I think we're going to start incorporating more of that in here because I think we need more than just one source, right? Like I'm your source. And so like I'm the coach. And so everything is definitely my responsibility and falls on my shoulders. But I think it would be of so much value because I've taught a lot of these guys in here. And so, well, I mean, I guess I've taught every one of them in here at this point, right? And so, but what the beauty in this is, like, and you all will experience this, especially if you're new. Like, if you're in your first or second year, like, you got to wait till you get to five. I mean, we were always told to measure things in decades, okay, not in years and 5 years and things like that. I just hit a decade, truthfully. And so, it's almost hard for me to still even do that. And so, but what I want to start doing, what like the vacation and the break, it gave me a whole lot of different ideas, especially in my investment company. And just we have an incredible team that we get to work with there, and they give me the bandwidth to think and so and lead, right? And so, but with what I wanted to show you guys today, I think I want to. So I want to show you something, but to finish that thought, I think we're going to start having some people. They cost me a little bit of money to have them come on these calls and do that because I'm not going to ask them to do that for free. But I'd like to start incorporating them because I think they have developed a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge outside of me, outside of what we'd originally taught them, right? Then for the last 5 years, they've been going out and iterating it, making their own changes, and building their own companies, building their own teams, like building mobile homes, doing things in California. Like there's so many, running your own PPC company. Like there's so many things that people can add value to. So just know, I think that's going to be something that's coming here shortly. But this is a new thing here, getting to do this Facebook Live. But I want to show you guys something that has a lot of power for me because I was just working through. So every Monday, I'll show you this in more of a second, but every Monday I like fill this thing out and it tells me, I have my, and it's got hundreds of pages in this, right? Of doing this. I work out of this thing every single day. If I lost this, I would be so sad. But we could, I could just start from scratch on it. But I want to show you guys this on how I use it. And so I didn't want to fill it out because it's got a bunch of personal stuff in it, a bunch of like income related goals and everything. And I try to stay away from that for us. And so because mine are different than yours. And I'm not saying they're more or less or anything. They're different. And so as yours are different than mine. And so, but let's go through this. So this is my journal. And this, I don't really know what else to call it, but it's my journal. And so let me show you guys this. All right. So here is, and this is not going to be the best, easiest way to see that. You guys see last week wins, 2026 goals, and this week's goals. So let's talk about those for a second. So guys, my last week's wins, I basically flip back through the last 5 days and I review it. And I see like what were some really cool things that happened. And so for instance, I would write down Megan last week had went and got a document that we needed for a refinance. And it's like a 60 or 70 grand refinance. And that document was a little tough to get and she went and got it. And so a relatively big win for us. And so because we're heavy into rehabbing and we stood up an Airbnb that cost us 80 grand out of pocket. And so we need that 70 grand. I mean, our OPEX account is getting low. And I like to keep a large reserve in there, at least at this point in our business. Heck, it still gets low. And so that's what I do for last week's wins. So you go back, you look at all of those, and you really input all the wins that you had. 2026 goals. This is where I write down my goals. Truthfully, I want you guys doing it every single day. I do it once a week now because I think that's a very good rhythm for me. It doesn't burn me out or anything. And so I go in and I write my 2026 goals every single week. dude, we never miss, guys. Like, you know what? I probably took a break last week because of vacation, and that was it. And so the 2026 goals, because they change. I hit goals, as you guys do, right? Like we hit goals, and I'm like, okay, well then I'll have a blank space in there for 2 or 3 weeks because I can't, think of the next thing that I want to do. And so that's what we do there. This week's goals. These are really important, and the reason why I like putting them right below my 2026 goals is because are this week's goals aligned with my annual goals? Like if not, then I probably got to iterate some stuff on there. And so, but I really like that this week's goals section, and I have the team do that too. So like I like to know, what their goals are, and they're always, fantastic. And it's cool to get to share that amongst each other so that we know what each of us is trying to do that week. It really aligns you up without having to put like a bunch of management in or something like that. Okay, next. Here we go. So next is big 3, all items, notes, wins. All right, big 3, that's my 3 big items that I'm going to do today. Truthfully, they probably are right in line with this week's goals. And so, but I'll do 1, 2, and 3. And the first one, that'll be the first thing I'll work on. So like when I close this down, that's the first thing I'm going to work on. I haven't even written these yet. So like I will define these, but that will be the first thing that I do. And I will not begin number 2 until I've taken number 1 as far as I can or completed it. And the same thing happens for 2, same thing happens for 3. That's really like, and I've given myself, typically after I complete all 3, like if I even do complete all 3 in a day, I'm usually done. Like that's usually it for me. And so whether it's early or whether it's late, it really just depends for me. All items, that is the next section. That's just what like pops in my head. Like, duh, I gotta send this guy a piece of paperwork, or I told this guy I'd call him back, or we just switched over from AT&T to T-Mobile, and I got to go up there and get the gift cards. And so like, there's a whole bunch of remember I told you guys I had a flip phone? So I have a flip phone. This is my weekend dialer here, so it keeps me away from my cell or my smartphone. Anyway, I got to get this switched over because I think it's still on AT&T. But that's where if anything pops in my head, I'll just like, oh yeah, and I'll write it down in the all items. I'm not going to do it, but I get it out of my head because otherwise it just sits in there. My next section is my team. And so that is where I'll write down like, hey, I need to check with Megan on this. Hey, I need to check with Teresa and Michael on this. And what I do is I save all of those items until our team huddle. That way I'm not randomly just calling the team, bugging them, interrupting their flow of their workday. And so notes is where I just scribble thoughts. I'll run scenarios out, all kinds of different things in there. And then lastly is wins. And so that is just where something cool happens. Like, Megan just had our floor redone here for the second time in our barn. First guy just didn't quite work out. Megan just redid the floor again with the new guy, and it is unbelievable looking. If I knew how to show this to you guys, it's not gonna work. But man, it looks so stinking cool, and because it's like a concrete floor, but the color is just beautiful. And so the wins, I put mine in there, I put the teams in there, anything I can think of, and then that's how it circles back all the way to last week's wins. So, guys, I wanted to show you that. I doubt that was a perfect presentation on how to do this, but I wanted to share that with you guys because this is something that really is like my foundation of my day. So, look forward to seeing you guys this week. We got new things coming out, guys. I'm redoing the training, updating all kinds of things. So just continue to do your part, and we'll continue to do ours. I'll see you guys out there.